I'd like to introduce today to you Mr. and Mrs. Thuot. We've had speakers in different capacities. The Thuots were in France during the occupation. Mr. Thuot served with the resistance to fight against the Nazi troops. So you're going to get kind of a different perspective this time than you've had from the others. You're going to get a perspective of someone who was in that country. Mrs. Thuot is going to speak to you first, and she's going to talk to you about the occupation, about what it's like to be a person who's occupied by a hostile nation. It was in France when it was occupied by the Germans. Would you give Mrs. Thuot your attention, please?
I'm going to try the best I can, and I hope you understand me. Okay? I was born in the north of France, here. Okay, Boulogne was the passage between Boulogne and England. And from there, we moved to Paris, okay, in 1939. And 1939. In 1939, that's why the war started, okay? And by 1940, I was 16 years of age when the war started. Pretty young. You don't realize how dangerous what war is. Like you children, you don't realize what war is really, because you never heard, you never seen nothing like that. You see on TV, but that's different, let me tell you, than when you go by yourself, when you hear yourself. And the German came, then the war was there, the German occupied Paris, and I was in Paris when that happened. So when we heard the Germans was coming, then we left Paris. We took some of our little stuff with us, and we walked to try to find on the street of Paris to try to find.
Take everything you can carry.
Yeah, a little bit what we can carry. And we did and walk on the street, and everybody was trying to go and get a train to go to the south of France, where we know the German was not there. They're not coming. So I remember walking in those streets there, and we were all, my sister and the family, we were walking. And by the time we arrived to the train station, what was many hours after that, and all the train were there, and they were taking people, and but we were on a boxcar. They put us in a boxcar, as many as we can, and all the train was following each other. And then the train was going very slow, and the air raid was coming. We had to get out of the car, of the train, lay down on the field, because the German was bombarding us. So we had to lay down. They were trying to hit the rail, you know, the train station, and well, we call that the rail, you know. And so when the air raid was finished, we all go back in the boxcar again. And for us, I was 17. At the beginning, we didn't say the bomb yet, okay? We only hear the air raid. So it was not, we didn't feel like it was very dangerous to us, you know? So, and I find some fun. I used to work on a factory. So we used to laugh. We'd go back on the plane, we'd go back and lay down on the grass like you, kid. We will think it's fun, okay? Because we're not dangerous in that place. We know we're here, but we didn't say nothing yet. So by that time, they took us out the day before the train couldn't go, because being starting so often like that, it took us a long time to go where we want to go. And by the time we reached Chateau Chinon, which is around here somewhere,
And then what?
yeah, on the Loire River, then the bridge was completely destroyed.
Lower.
And all the train rolled farther down. Because that, before it was both, we get out of the train and lay down on the ground. Then we heard all the bomb. Then we know the bridge was blowing out, okay? So they told us they couldn't go no more, because there was no way the train could pass no more to bring us to the stop. So we all took a little staff with us, and we started to walk on the street again, tried to continue going south. Then after a while, we have a tent with us. It was 9 of us sleeping on the tent. And it was a little baby, 3 months old. And my sister's 3 summers baby. And then one night, so the French soldier was there, tried to stop the German to come in. And one night, the French soldier, I was all the time want to go with the French soldier. I was young, and I all the time want to go with them. And one night, the French soldier said, I think you better go back with your family, because tomorrow the Germans are coming. I'll be here. And
All the kids.
so the next day, and they know they're going to be prisoner or killed or soldier, okay? And the next day, sure enough, some were killed and some were prisoner.
Hold on.
And so we saw one French soldier being prisoner and the German guarding them. There's nothing we could do no more. Just go back to Paris again. And but the time we were on the side of the street, looking at the soldier being prisoner, we saw all the French German soldier, and he was on the side. Okay, he was not with the rest of the soldier, with the German soldier. And he says to my sister-in-law, he said, "Here, some money. You can buy something for your baby." He said, "I didn't want that war." The whole German didn't want the war either. The younger German want the war. The old men want the war. No one wants the war. Okay? And so we start again to go back. After more days, we walk back to try to get the train to go back to Paris. So again, we reached the train and we went back to Paris, and sure enough, the German was there. And we were lucky, no one broke into the apartment, because when you go out of the city where it's occupied like that, most of the time some people stay there. And what happened? The one who stayed there, they broke in somebody else's apartment. And that's the apartment and store was just destroyed because people steal from you. Okay? But we were lucky, no one broke nothing, and we find an apartment. Well, not much, but I mean, 2 rooms, okay? And then every day you see all the German, very strict, walking on the street, back out there, every day. The German are very disciplined. American soldiers are not disciplined, okay? They bunch like a bunch of soldiers, okay? Like a bunch of kids. But the German, okay? Well, then that was the occupation. And then what they tried to do, they were removing on the store. It used to be all the cotton with zinc and copper. What the German took all that from the store because they want to make ammunition with that, okay? So they removed it. Even they went to church, and some of the church and removed stuff from church too. And then we were rationing. It was very hard to find food. And we have tickets to buy everything. And we were allowed 50 grams of bread a day. That's what we were allowed during the war. All day long. 50 grams of meat for 1 week. Okay? It was very, very hard time. Sugar was almost scarce. Vegetable, it was very, very hard to find. You have to try to find what you can. Okay? And sometimes, even with the ticket you have to be in line. The bakery used to make a sign which bakery is going to be open and tell you what hour they're going to be open. Because every bakery didn't have no flour to make bread. So only few of them have flour, you know? And so we were there, and if the bakery opened 1 o'clock, then you know you have to be there like maybe 9 o'clock in the morning if you want to have bread. Because if you don't go there on time, if you go there just in time, there was no bread no more. Because they only have so much bread every day, so much time they can bake every day. So it was very hard. Same thing with the meat. You go to the meat and make a big long line, and you get up 5 o'clock in the morning because during the occupation, you could not be outside after that and in the morning before light coming. So the minute it was 5:30 in the morning, it was light. Then we go outside and make a line. And sometimes you stay there till 12, 1 o'clock. And when you arrive there, there was no meat. So you have to wait for the next day and go back and use your ticket the next day. And so one time, that's my experience. One time, I was working in a factory where they make many clothes. And one time, a girlfriend and I, like I said, we were younger, we took chance. We decided we're going to go on a weekend looking for something to eat. So we took a train in a boxcar again, and because the German having the back seat of the thing. And so we work and we went on the country and we work and try to ask for the farmer to have some food, some beans or something, potatoes to sell us. And but then by the time we work and we find that it was dark, so we slept next to how do you call that?
It's stuck.
They start, where for the animal day, we sleep there like that. And then the next day we were able to take the train back to Paris with little bag of beans. And that was the only thing we could find. And it's very hard to remember every detail, But then I think I'm going to come to the point where I'm trying to remember as much as I can. And then Mr. Thuot came back because then in 1943, Mr. Thuot came back. And at that time, he worked for a railroad. And he worked on the food supplies on the railroad for the railroad people. So we were very fortunate because working for the railroad and the food supplies, he was able to get some food for us. Now we were very happy. We have enough food, not lots of food, but it was enough food for us. And he was able to help some of our friends. And then in 1943, we were married. And we used to work together before the war. We didn't speak to each other, but we used to work together. And we only met more by writing to each other. We didn't even know each other. And by the time he came back, then we married. And never went out with no one else like that. So the same. And we've been married 50 years and a year and a year.
Forget what the German get me. You forget what the German get think of maybe.
So with that. Sorry, my mind just go back right now.
Now you go back about 45. Then we
I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah. So now, in 1943, we were married. Then we were just almost in Paris because 3 streets from where we live, it was Paris, okay? And it would be like something Trenton and Princeton, okay, where that close, living close and that. And my husband used to go and walk on bicycle in Paris, about 20 minutes from where we live. Then now, it was not the German bombarding us. Now it was the American people and the English people was coming and bombarding us to try to free France from the German now. Okay? So now it was so many hair raid all day long and all night long. And we were not far from Le Bourget, what is the airport there. Then it was another place where it was Drancy, Camp Drancy. So as working in a factory, the hair raid was so open now. The people didn't want you to go down every minute. There was a hair raid. Every couple of hours was a hair raid because the airplane was coming. So what they did, they put someone on the top of the roof of the factory to listen the plane. And when they heard the plane, then they made us go down in the basement. Well, if there was a bomb coming in the factory, we'd be dead. But we hear bombs some places. Thank God it was not for us because it's too late. By the time the plane was, they can hear the plane. But they didn't want us to come to work no more. And then there's the same thing with us. Because we were living so close to the airport, we used to hear lots of the bombing, and we used to go down during the night in the basement. And then, by the time you hear, you can feel the base because the apartment was old, so you can feel the apartment shaking. And we were not far from the Camp Drancy. Camp Drancy, maybe if you read about that, is a place where the Germans used to put the Jewish people in boxcar with live line and burn them. Then they die. Okay? And people who live around there can hear them scream to the time they die. And we were only about 20 minutes from there. So imagine when you hear those rumor, not rumor, those talk, when you hear people know, they can hear those people dying. And if you by chance you want to go early in the morning, you stay late at night, you can hear people, German was shooting you with mitraillette. We don't know who was shot because we were home, but you can hear the mitraillette going on. So you were not allowed to go in the nighttime.
When you said there was curfew, there was a curfew.
Yeah. And then after that, it was when the American walked in. I think I'm going to have to keep some things that you were talking to. So after that is when all the bombardment there. And then the army of General de Gaulle came in and we were free, And then one day, the American soldier was there already, and then we were
With French.
and the French, yeah. And we were in Notre Dame with my husband, and all of a sudden, even if the Germans were gone, there was still few left there in the city of Paris, and they were hiding in the chimney like that. And then they were trying to shoot the soldier on the bottom because it was one tank there from the American soldier and the tank. And then when we heard the shooting, we hid ourselves on the bottom. And then it was when we have the American soldier walk on the street. That was the happiest day of our life. And they were so happy in the Jeep and all the girls jumping on the bed with them, But the people went, a couple of more minutes, the people went with the girl who went with the German soldier. Okay, I forget to tell you that. The girl who went with the German soldier collaborated with the soldier. When the American people came and the French people came to liberate Paris again, all those girls who collaborated with the Germans didn't have no hair no more. They were shaved completely. And then on the streets when you go to work, you know which one was collaborating with the German. Okay? But that's was a happy day of life when the American soldier liberate Paris. And that's why I understood when we went to the Gulf War to liberate Saudi Arabia, because I know what it is to be occupied by an enemy, because they're not very easy on you. Okay? Thank you.
When I talk to you now, before he does, I want to just give you a little background very quickly to kind of get you started. After World War I, the Treaty of Versailles was signed, and as we're nearing World War II, the French, in an attempt to stop another attack from Germany, would build a line called the Maginot Line. And Mr. Thuot will talk about the Maginot Line as a way to keep the Germans out. He's going to talk about the Blitzkrieg and the Battle of Dunkirk, where he fought. And after the Battle of Dunkirk, France will fall. And the French in France had three options. The three options were to become Free French Troops Resistance, or some work with the Germans. They were called the militia. We'll talk about that, about Jean Moulin, and then eventually with Paris being liberated in 1944. Would you give Mr. Thuot your attention, please?
First, I was born in 1919. I'm 72 years old. My father never knew he had a son because he fought the First World War all the way up to the end to 1918. He was killed 10 days before the armistice date. He don't know he had a son because he was killed on November 1st. The armistice day was signed November 11th in 1918. He had born on April 1919, so he don't know he had a son. All right? So when I was 20 years old, I was called for to leave. Because on the date over there, I was on the army. We walked all the way up here because the German was smart. They know it's a Maginot Line and have no chance to cross. The Belgian promised all the time to the French, don't go all the way up to the ocean because we will finish the Maginot Line. They never did. So the German was so stupid. Why they go to Maginot Line to get killed when they have a chance to go around? That's why they go around. But the French decide we're going to send all the French soldiers over there. I mean the infantry when they don't. Over there. And we're going to start to stop the Germans. But the Germans don't walk on foot. Like we do. We was finished the First World War. We used to dig trenches. We were so smart. But they come in with tanks we don't have. They come in with materials we don't have. We fight with bayonet. They shoot us with machine gun. But that was the war. So we back off. We back off all the way up to Dunkirk. With the English, the Canadians, Polish, Serb, all the people who belonged to the French at that time. But from Dunkirk, we went back to the ocean. Like this. We can't go further. So they circle us. The Germans circle us. Then they give us 3 days because the English take all the English back home. They don't take care of the French. Take all the English with the rowboat, anything, go back to England. So I was a friend of mine. He was captain. He was shot on the legs, he can't walk. I was shot on the head, but don't know too bad. So one night, he know, before he somebody told him the German tomorrow going to take us back to Germany. So he said, you carry me, you help me, we escape. So we escape.
All the servants.
Lots of soldiers, don't shoot me, lots of soldiers we escape. So we mean under their French soldiers, we keep fighting the battle, and we back up every time. The French army told us, back up to that river, back up to that river, back up to that river. We back up all the way up to the Loire River. That's what my wife told you before. But the Loire River, we know we was finished. We have nothing to fight with. That's why she told you about the soldier who was ready to get killed. German take them, right? So we blew all the bridges, tried to stop the German to go through. By that time, they declare Paris open city. So the German walked in, they take the city over. That's why they don't bomb the city. If you keep the city, they don't bomb the city. That's why open city is open. They work ready. And no problem. We have ordered to get out of there, no shoot. But we don't shoot, we go up. So over there, after this, they occupy France. All the way up here. And they put the lines in there, they call that demarcation line. You can't go through here. If you leave here, you can't go there. If you leave here, you can't go there. If you move here to go there, if they know it, you go to jail or you get shot.
Like you.
All right. Now, meantime, the Germans over there, if you're a Jewish descent or you're Jewish, they take you. Even if you're 10 years old, 3 years old, you go to camps. You like it or not. Et they put a gas chamber, les balais, you all die. Because there was no idea you're going to work for me. They pick you up, and you're going to work. They don't ask you if you like it or not. If you say, I don't want to go, that's all. You know what they say? That was easy to shoot you, than speak you. It was cheaper. Forget that. One bullet is free, it's cheap. They keep you 10 years, costs money. So, over there, we have everything we have. And the French army said, everybody going home. Because we have nothing to fight. That's only I don't know, because when we went a couple of years ago in France, I told him, and let me tell you, you remember, I told him, when I saw the town over there, I even cried. I said, Bruce, that's why we finish. Remember that? All right, you can't forget it. So, when we're here, the French resistance stopped. That's right, that's what I got. There's a French resistance on science. And then we have a boss. He was the Red Arm of Charles de Gaulle. He was on Charles de France Resistance, Jean Moulin. He was picked up on Paris. Right there on the opera, in Paris, because he made a mistake that day. He's supposed to meet someone, and that person was late. And instead of go out that day right away, he wait. And the Gestapo, they was looking for everybody. And they know who was Jean Moulin, the guy is picked us already. So they pick him up. And they stretch him on pieces. If you know what I'm talking about. They put him on a salary, they stretch him on pieces until he died. Because he was all boss. All the way up to 1943. Then we was fighting every night. We received everything we need to fight the German from England during the night. And every day we have we have a radio. This time we don't have nothing else besides radio. Every night, everything is repeated 3 times. The guy on the radio all the time, we were all volunteer, all volunteer. We don't have to belong to the resistance. We don't have to. You're your own. Every night we have radio from London, everything is reported on. Here London, here London, here London.
Please rise for the flag salute.
Hold on 1 second.
Like I said before. Now we receive from England on the radio, the French speak to the front, right? Every 3 times. Then you gotta say, we expect a snow tonight by 10 o'clock. That means by 10 o'clock, we have to do something. So that means the guy on the radio, that was cold. So he said, okay, you, because don't forget, all volunteer. You know what you need? You gotta blow that railroad, you gotta blow that bridge over there, you gotta go over there and shoot all the German garrison over there. Then you have to pass the line. During the night. Okay? Okay. So we did. And every night we receive supply from England. But the plane, we don't have nothing, we can't build a fire because the German know you're on the map. So we take the dry grass, over there and over there. And when the plane come in with no light, and the plane is dead, no engine running, it's just dead plane. So he just give you two signals, and you answer. Then you start the grass on fire, then you don't land, it's just like big box ammunition and everything we need. That's it. That was the French resistance. Then, little by little, we kill them. How much a German we have a chance to kill? We kill it. Then, 1944, that's when the D-Day coming from the south. That were the three French again, we together, and we went all the way up there, putting the Germans, all the way back over there, and instead of our underground, they was Paris, the general on charge of the resistance in Paris, the German general give up, but they decide no, that be the French army coming from the south, had the honor to get the surrender for that general. He was a very good German general. He got order from Hitler to bomb that city, blow that city, and burn that city. But that German general von Schlicht, he said, it's so beautiful city, he said, I can't have a heart to burn it. Then they surrendered to the French army coming from the south. They were coming from Africa. Finish. This was 1944. Paris was free again from the Germans. And this was that day, Charles de Gaulle coming to the French Notre Dame, and everybody started Charles de Gaulle. That was a liberator to him. He will make the French resistance living again. That's what I got. That's what we get. That's the French resistance I'm saying. Thank you very much.
Do you have any questions for the two of us? Are there any
You
questions?
can look them up if you want.
Yeah, coming with this conference, 1945, yeah, I forget to tell you, I didn't have my flat. With them, the war was finished in June 44, and we were here in 19 of October 45. We took
Marcos Jimenez, report to the guidance office, please.
a big ship, no, it was a
Supply ship.
supply ship, and we were one of the first ships to come in this country. Before my husband working where he worked, he was able to have special ticket to come in this country because good challenge. And we were with important people under the ship, and with the ship had to stop sometimes to blow the mine.
This is the French resistance
Yeah.
when I was working.
To blow the mine.
And when the Germans said this, because I was working for the railroad, and you know you can lie sometimes a little bit. So when I tell the German, when they ask me, I say, look, I was working for the train, right? In the train over there, they take all the ammunition from here. Because they build over there, the line over there to stop the D-Day. So they need ammunition and everything.
So as the ship coming there, there was mine and the ocean. So the ship had to stop and blow the mine in front of us. And by the time we arrived here, it took us 9 days to arrive here. And then we started starting to get it. So, yeah.
How was education?
What? Education?
Yeah.
You mean when I was young?
Well, like, when you're in a ward,
When I was 16, I was not going to school already at that time. 16, 17, I was working. I started my education when I was 14. Okay.
well, did the supply chain ever get blown up and if it did, what, and how did it, what happened?
Excuse me?
Did the supply chain, like with ammunition, was it ever shut down by the Germans?
Gliders that came in.
No, they're glad, they don't make no noise.
And did the Germans ever see it or?
No, because you go so high, first you go from England, they take off from England, with your engine full blast. As soon as you come to the French coast, you're glad. You don't hear that. They're coming on one plane all the time. No 3, 4 planes, only one plane coming all the time. This was one plane, they don't know if the plane for looking for the German or not, they don't know. You know, reconnaissance plane, they can be a reconnaissance plane, you don't know. I mean, only thing one time, they come in with 10 planes from England. They right outside Paris, 10 miles right outside Paris. They bombed the railroad station because they have trained how far you can see with torpedoes, ammunition for the war, for D-Day war. Right? You know and what happened? For 3 days, 30 miles around, there was no house left.
There's not somebody else.
Were you married during the war?
We were married during the war, and we had to be married during the day because you were not allowed to go. And as for food, we couldn't find no food. But one of my husband's family, we see how many from a bicycle from Paris.
Well,
2 hours from Paris with a bicycle on the farm, and they gave us our rabbits. And we were 8 of us and waiting, yeah. And that's what we have for dinner,
Cabbage.
the rabbits.
and cabbage.
That's what the wedding did. And we were home before night, if you don't want the German shoot you.
You have to end now, and you have to go on, would you give it to us?
8:40.